Hi, oh, wow. Hi, everybody. It's Lasha. I have no idea why there is no camera on. Um, well, this is annoying. I'll be back in 3 minutes. Less than. Well, okay. There's no camera. I have no idea why. Oh, Trevor. Trevor's Infinite Horizons. Hi, it's Lash. Okay. I have no idea why there is no screen here. So, I guess what I say really matters, and it doesn't matter what I look like right now at all. So, I do want to talk about Charlie Kirk. That is all anybody is talking about. And Trevor and I had this conversation on FaceTime because we were going to talk about more about our collaborations, our thoughts about it. And it's an interesting cultural phenomenon. Now, oh my gosh, this podcast is going to be so different. I apologize, it's my voice only. Maybe that's a better thing. So, I apologize if I don't look at comments right now because my mother's watching a television show, so I brought the computer into the bathroom and there's no camera, so I'm just going to say what I want to say about Charlie Kirk. As I said in my previous podcast, I had no idea who Charlie Kirk was. Not a clue. I'm from Canada. I usually think of myself as somebody who's up to date on current events, what's going on the internet, who's talking about what. And I don't want to piggyback off of anybody else's opinion. And I think this is a very important time in history. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie Kirk started the organization, something USA or Point USA, something along those lines. And it was a conservative political movement he started 10 years ago. Now, I just want everybody to know that I am not an expert on this. I'm an objective Canadian looking in who, for various reasons, had quite a few years to watch YouTube and observe the growth of different channels. And I've been watching Candace Owens for years, and I don't remember her and the Charlie Kirk days, and I had no idea that they were very good friends. And what does Candace Owens have to do with this cultural moment? Well, if you look at her YouTube page, her volume of participants on her channel and the people that have joined her YouTube or her website, it's a third higher than it was over the last 6-7 days. And she is a cultural figure in this time. I think she's, all of this, as I said, is all my opinion. I'm going by my memory. I'm 54. I could be having a menopausal flash, who knows? But sometimes, people's memories can get foggy. At any rate, she is a cultural influencer at this time. And conservatism, as it were, in the way in which Jimmy Carter was. And Jimmy Carter, just wanted to say, and Trevor, you know this because you know all of your history about presidents and so on. Jimmy Carter was known as being one of the nicest men. And, he brought all of the hostages home from the Iran embassy kidnapping. If anybody wants to look into that without reading or doing research, the movie Argo, starring Ben Affleck, and he also produced it, is the closest thing to the truth that you'll see. At any rate, it's a cultural moment because Candace Owens is a cultural figure. Conservatism is coming back. And baseline conservatism, in my point of view, is about the church, family, marriage, vows. And I believe in those values. As far as her faith in Catholicism, I believe that anybody can believe in whatever they want to, as long as it doesn't harm anybody. And the one thing about this shooting that really bothered me, because I saw, and like we all did, that horrible, horrible, horrible the horrible visual of this man literally on live. I couldn't believe it. My mother watched it and she couldn't even. And my mother is 75, and she actually watched the real JFK assassination in real time. And my mother, like I said, is 75 now. And I just wanted to say that, that's sort of conservatism to me. Now, as far as the politics of immigration and that type of thing, I don't want to get into that. And then I was thinking about liberals and how they've gone batshit crazy on the left. Men are going to get what? Ovary transfers next? I think that's a jolt to feminism. And in 20 years, people are going to look back at those with transgender issues as it was an experiment. And I know there have been very, very, very few cases where children are born with different deformities. And then they just, I don't want to get into that. But, the left is blaming the right. The right is blaming the left. It's never ending. It goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the other thing that I don't get is the footage. And I said this while I was watching the footage before I even listened to Candace. And I thought, oh, I really do have a brain. But I'm looking at the first picture going, wait a minute, that man looks Chinese. And then I saw a different picture and I thought, that doesn't look like the same man. And again, if you want really specific information on that, watch Candace Owens. Now, I'm pretty liberal, but I'm also very conservative as well, if that makes any sense. I'm an independent politically in Canada. I'm not part of the NDP, the Progressive Conservatives, or the Liberal Party. But I just wanted to say that I heard Trump say that Charlie could have been president. And I remember saying to one of my friends, you know what? Wouldn't it be just crazy if I just basically said, do you think that Trump would want anybody to interfere on his dynasty? And you can take that as you will. I'll leave the Charlie Sheen until I get the computer fixed. I don't know how this is going to turn out or if anybody will listen to it. Trevor, thank you for sticking around. I know it's too old. Oh, geez. Well, you know what? Those are my thoughts, and maybe it's best that my face wasn't shown in this one. And on that note, that's a wrap. And I think what happened to Charlie Kirk was an absolutely disgusting, and none of it makes sense. And you know, at that Trump rally, in my opinion, it was not real, except for the bullet that hurt. You know, there's a fireman, there's a widow from a Trump rally, and now Erica Kirk is a widow, and this is all, in my opinion, these shootings are based around the MAGA movement, and they're all white, angry men. They're not immigrants. Anyways, that's my opinion. That's a wrap. Take care of yourselves on September the 19th of 2025, and Trevor and I will be back with you at some point. Trevor, I will touch base with you in a couple of hours. I have to take care of some tasks for Mom. And for anybody that listens to this as a replay, thank you and take care.